Imagine a world where war is not a choice, but a constant, brutal reality. A world where every single day, millions of soldiers clash in epic, silent battles over territory, over food, over survival itself. This isn't some distant alien planet. This is happening right beneath our feet. We're talking about the secret, savage world of ants. Think about that for a second. You walk across a lawn, you see a few ants on a sidewalk. It looks peaceful, but you are standing on a powder keg. You are treading across a landscape carved by endless conflict. These tiny creatures have perfected the art of total war on a scale that would make any human general's head spin. Their entire existence is a masterclass in strategy, sacrifice, and sheer terrifying efficiency. So, what are they fighting for? Everything. A prime nesting site near a reliable food source is worth more than gold. A rival colony's larvae are a treasure trove of protein. A disputed border is a line drawn in sand and blood. For ants, resources are life, and life is a zero-sum game. There is no diplomacy here, no treaties. When scout meets scout from an enemy colony, the signal is given, and the machinery of war grinds into motion. Let's break down how this works. First, intelligence. Ant colonies have incredible reconnaissance. Worker ants are constantly patrolling, mapping their territory, and most importantly, sniffing out strangers. Ants communicate through chemicals, pheromones. Every colony has its own unique scent, a chemical ID badge. If a patroller detects the wrong scent, that's a red alert. It races back to the nest, laying down a frantic pheromone trail, a chemical roadmap straight to the enemy. This is the mobilization. That alarm pheromone is a call to arms that the entire colony understands instantly. It triggers a transformation. Peaceful foragers, nurses tending the brood, they all change gears. They become soldiers. They follow the chemical trail with a single-minded purpose, a river of chitin and mandibles flowing toward the front lines. And then, the battle. It is chaos and order combined. There is no grand formation, but there is overwhelming force. They swarm, they grab, they bite, they sting. Some species spray formic acid, burning their foes. Others, like army ants, are pure mobile devastation, dismembering anything in their path. The fighting is brutal and personal. Ants will lock jaws and tear each other apart. They will sacrifice themselves without a second thought if it means protecting the nest, the queen, the future. But here's the thing that's truly chilling. This isn't mindless violence. This is calculated. This is work. For an ant colony, war is work. It's a logistical operation as complex as running a city. There are supply lines, workers carrying the wounded back to the nest. There is resource allocation, diverting workers from foraging to fighting. There is even, in a horrifying sense, agriculture. Some ants, like the infamous slave-making ants, don't just kill their enemies. They raid rival nests, steal their pupae, and bring them back to their own colony. When those pupae hatch, they imprint on the scent of their captors. They believe they are home. And they go to work. They become a slave labor force, tending the brood of the colony that conquered them. Their entire life's work is a monument to their own colony's defeat. So you start to see the picture. This isn't just random skirmishes. This is a high-stakes, eternal struggle for dominance, fought with biological weapons and industrial efficiency. But how far does this go? What are the grand strategies, the super colonies that span continents, and what happens when the war is over? The front lines are just the beginning. The grand strategy is chemical. It always comes back to scent. An ant colony is a single sprawling organism bound by a unique chemical signature. And the ultimate act of war isn't just to defeat your enemy, but to erase them, to overwrite their very identity. This is where we find the super colonies. On coastlines in Europe and Japan, researchers found something impossible. Billions of Argentine ants belonging to nests miles apart that did not fight. They recognized each other as kin. They were, in fact, part of the same colossal mega-colony, a networked empire stretching thousands of miles. Imagine that. A single distributed consciousness ruling a continent, its borders defined not by geography, but by a shared chemical passport. Within this empire, there is peace, but at its edges, a perpetual silent holocaust. Any ant with the wrong scent is exterminated. This is total war, reduced to a single sniff. But what of the aftermath? What does victory look like in a world without treaties? Sometimes it looks like a ghost town, a conquered nest emptied of life, its tunnels stripped of resources. Sometimes it's a forced merger. The victorious colony may assimilate the surviving workers, their scent gradually groomed and altered until they are no longer a threat, just more labor. And sometimes victory is Pyrrhic. A colony can win every battle but lose the war for survival. If too many workers are diverted to fight, foraging stops, the brood starves. The queen, the very heart of the operation, stops laying eggs. The colony wins its territory but signs its own death warrant. It traded its future for a patch of dirt. So, is this all there is? An endless, brutal cycle of work and war? Not quite, because in the shadow of these empires, life finds a way. Other species evolve to cheat the system. Tiny parasitic ants, like thieves in the night, build their hidden tunnels directly into the walls of a mighty colony. They steal food right from the mouths of their warlike neighbors, too small, too fast, too sneaky to be worth the colossal effort of a war. They are the hackers in the system, proving that sometimes the best strategy is to avoid the fight altogether. In the end, the life and work of an ant is a paradox. It is the pinnacle of cooperation, a miracle of selfless organization. Yet that same brilliant cooperation is the engine of their endless conflict. Their work is war, and their war is work. They build cities and destroy them. They are farmers, engineers, nurses, and they are also raiders, assassins, slave makers. They live in a world we can barely comprehend, where the individual is nothing and the colony is everything. A world where peace is just the chemical illusion of belonging and the quietest footfall in the grass is the sound of an industry mobilizing for a fight that never, ever ends. Look down. The ground beneath your feet is not just soil. It is an ancient, living battlefield, and the war is always in session.